All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people, just like you right there, and just like me right here. Happy Father's Day. I'm going to be talking about probably one of the better rock and roll fathers and husbands. Yes, it does exist. I know some people would think in the rock and roll business, there's probably no good examples of a father. Of course, the late Harry Chapin comes to mind, and he wrote that epic song Cats in the Cradle. But before I get going, Causeway Stars, I'm going to be talking actually about Dennis DeYoung. So Causeway Stars, this is an amazing album. It's called Thirds a Charm. It's got some DDY tendencies to it. So if you like the Dennis DeYoung version of Styx, check out this album by Causeway Stars, Thirds a Charm. The band affectionately named after the Sanibel Causeway, which isn't too far from where I live. That causeway was wiped out, and within 2 weeks, it was rebuilt last year. So that was nothing short of a miracle. You know what's a miracle in the rock and roll world is a long marriage and raising children. And because it's Father's Day today, I figured I would single out Dennis DeYoung. By the way, there is no Styx reunion. Tommy Shaw told Rolling Stone not too long ago, he basically says here, we weren't even happy working with each other in our heyday, says guitarist and vocalist Tommy Shaw. So why should we do this again? This has been a refrain over and over again. And if you listen to Dennis DeYoung, who's been married, I think, for something like 50 years to his wife, Suzanne. By the way, very interesting fact about Styx is their first big song was a song that was written about Suzanne DeYoung. It's called Lady. And then another one of their huge hits, which the band doesn't perform, is a song called Babe, another song that if you were around in the summer of 1980, holy crap, Batman, you couldn't get that song off the radio. You'd have to pry it loose from terrestrial radio back in that time frame. The album Cornerstone actually came out in 1979, but I think Babe became a hit, I want to say, in the winter months of 1980 into the spring, and may have peaked in the summer. I can't remember, but it's the band's biggest hit and remains so, and will probably always be the band's biggest hit, unless, Styx can get some of their other music into a TikTok video or a video game or something like that. It's probably not going to happen, but this whole situation really bothers me. And maybe it's not the normal average guy who's raising kids, who loves his wife, who sticks with his wife for that many years. Maybe it's not biased toward that. Maybe I'm just reading into the arguments that have gone back and forth. Dennis was a control freak. Dennis was difficult to work with. It's weird because Dennis went out on tour after he was allowed by, court agreement, court documents to say, hey, I'm Dennis DeYoung and this is the music of Styx. He seemed to want to go out on tour, and he's been touring for a long time, and recently it seems as though he's ramped all the operations back down. I think what Dennis wanted more than anything was to go out one more time with Styx, and then he could retire, and the band could keep doing what they're doing, Mission to Mars Part 2, or Mission to Saturn, or Crash of the Crown, and then maybe Crash of the Jewels. I don't know, something to follow that up with. By the way, those Styx albums aren't all that bad. They do need an infusion of songwriting and less sort of forced progressive tendencies, and maybe a little bit more of a songwriting, a hook, some decent melodies that actually go somewhere and don't just kind of. I mean, if Styx wants to be Yes, that's cool, I guess. I mean, Yes has a new album out, which is really good, that nobody's really paying attention to. So again, I don't know. The bottom line is Dennis DeYoung on Father's Day, think of this: a dedicated husband, a dedicated father, raised children successfully, which isn't an easy thing to do. In fact, it's in this age and even prior, it's actually borderline heroic to be a good dad and to be there for your children and so forth. Even when you make mistakes along the way, you know, at the end of it all, if your kids are still there when they're grown up and they talk to you and you have a good relationship, I think that's the sign that maybe you did one thing right. But in the rock and roll world, it's a rarity. So kudos to Dennis DeYoung. It's just really sad that Styx won't allow him to just live out, you know, this one last thing. And Dennis isn't out on tour. In fact, his lead guitarist, August Zadra, is out there with Tommy DiCarlo. So you can catch Tommy DiCarlo with August Zadra, two really great musicians, Tommy and August, both amazing out there, and proving that Dennis knows how to pick them, right? And August, really a poor man's version of Tommy Shaw, may in some ways be a better version of Tommy Shaw, because apparently he's okay with hanging out with Dennis DeYoung. And all I can say about Tommy is, I don't get it, dude. After all this time, just work with the guy. You don't have to hang out with him. I mean, he just shows up and you guys do your thing for one last tour. You make lots of money and then everybody goes their separate ways. So I don't know why this is so complicated. I guess it would be admitting that the narrative that you set up, that Dennis ruined the band, Dennis is difficult to work with, nobody likes Dennis, Dennis ruined Styx, blah, blah, blah. That narrative would go away if you had him back. You'd be saying none of that really matters. I guess it's good in a way that you're sticking to your principles, but for those who don't like Dennis, and I think that group of people, maybe back in 1984, was a big deal, but not anymore. It's 40 years later, nobody cares. They want to see the band together. They want to hear all the songs. You guys could even go off stage during the best of times. You don't even have to be on stage. I think Dennis could sit there on piano and just bang it out, and the audience would love it. Then you could come back when all the hard rocking Styx songs are being played. You know, all the songs with the testosterone in there. It's just, which is ridiculous. You know, Tommy Shaw's in this band called Damn Yankees, and their biggest song is a power ballad called High Enough. So yeah, it's a bit perplexing. You know what's not perplexing at all is this amazing album. Again, if you're a fan of Dennis DeYoung in Styx, check out Causeway Stars. Third's a charm. Craig Higgins, who's kind of like Alan Parsons Jr., he's just a really amazing producer, arranger, songwriter, knows how to, make decent melodies, just like Dennis DeYoung used to. And seriously, I'm thinking that's what Styx really needs. But at this stage, it's really just all about, putting a bow on a great career and doing something for the fans. I know the fans are still showing up. They're still paying $130 to go see Styx, and they get the guy with a spinning keyboard, so that makes up for Dennis, right? Okay, all right, I'm done. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Don't forget to check out Modern Retro Radio, modernretrofm.com. Really great radio station online that you can listen to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I don't think you have to pay a subscription to do that. You just listen. And I think there's stuff about me on there this week coming up. Either something that I talked about or a song that I like, or I don't know. You'll have to tune in to find out. I don't know all the details, but it's kind of cool that they're doing that, right? So even more reason, or in some cases, people are, I'm going to stay away from that radio station. Yeah, don't listen for me. I mean, I'm not on there talking, but I think they're going to talk about me. So yeah, I'm flattered that they would do that. It's pretty cool. And again, folks, thanks for watching. Have a great Father's Day. God bless you. God bless America. More importantly, people, God save America. I'll see you soon.